Good to be with you. I'm Tony DeCopel. The breaking news right now. New fears of violence in Venezuela tonight, just 3 days after the U.S. operation to capture Nicolas Maduro. Armed gangs in the streets. Lilia Luciano is live at the Colombian border. And who's fit to lead Venezuela? Our network exclusive with opposition leader Maria Corina Machado. She tells me the country's next president should be her.
2,000 agents is enormous.
It is.
Also developing tonight, major new immigration raids in Minnesota. The state's governor calls it an attack by the federal government. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem responds tonight in our exclusive interview. Meanwhile, a murder mystery in Columbus, Ohio. Tonight, the mysterious new video, what it reveals. And only in America, Marco Rubio, holder of every job under the sun, as imagined by the internet.
Live from America, this is the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel, reporting tonight from Miami.
And good evening once again. We're off to South Florida tonight as we launch our Live from America tour, Doral to be exact, our first stop because it's home to the largest Venezuelan community in America. Some of them are here with me tonight, sitting at El Arapazo. That is the restaurant at the absolute center of those massive celebrations you've seen over the past few days. So many Venezuelans have fled decades of what seemed to be a hopeless dictatorship, but now, as of this very week, they are among some of the most hopeful people in America. In just a moment, you're going to see our conversations on the streets of Doral, but we're going to begin tonight with the questions about the Trump administration's plans for the future of Venezuela and the president's threat towards a different country now, a NATO ally. Red O'Keefe leads us off tonight from the White House.
Tonight, the White House is doubling down on President Trump's pursuit of Greenland, saying that utilizing the U.S. military is always an option.
The United States should have Greenland as part of the United States.
There's an American military base with approximately 150 troops on the island, a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark, which is a NATO partner. European leaders today slammed the idea of a takeover, saying Greenland belongs to its people, while congressional Democrats said the move would have disastrous consequences.
Nothing would lead to the absolute destruction of NATO more than American aggressive action against a long-term ally like Denmark.
The renewed focus on Greenland comes as questions remain about the president's strategy in Venezuela. Today, he shared more details about the weekend capture of Nicolas Maduro.
It was so complex, 152 airplanes, many. Talk about boots on the ground. We had a lot of boots on the ground. But it was amazing. The electricity for almost the entire country was, boom, turned off. That's when they knew there was a problem. There was no electricity.
CBS News has learned that as the Maduros tried to escape into their safe room, Delta Force commandos threw stun grenades in their direction. Officials say they were bleeding when captured. Venezuelan authorities confirmed at least 24 of their officers were killed in the weekend raid, and the country's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, said today the Venezuelan government is in charge, and no one else.
I've been saying it for a long time. Nobody can take us.
Trump has claimed he's in control and said there won't be new elections in the country for at least 30 days. The Pentagon tonight says 2 U.S. service members are still recovering from injuries sustained during the operation to remove Maduro from Venezuela. 5 additional service members were injured, but have already returned to duty. Tony?
Glad to hear it, Ed. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano is just across the border tonight from Venezuela. She's in the country of Colombia, and she joins us now live. Lilia, good evening.
Good evening to you, Tony. Look, the further you get from Venezuela, the louder the celebrations. But inside the country, that is not an option because even though Nicolas Maduro is out, the regime is still very much there. There are these armed militias that are called colectivos that have been canvassing the streets of Caracas and cities beyond. Only public displays of support for Maduro are tolerated, and any hint of support for the U.S. can be met with arrest. But it's not just civilians that are on edge. Last night, gunfire rang out near the presidential palace, and it turns out that it was the military shooting down some commercial drones. And here at the border, you can feel the volatility. As you can see, there are these armored trucks that are here, part of a major deployment from the Colombian military in order to prevent or to control any possible spillover of violence or migration. Tony?
Yeah, Lily, you can feel it. You can see it as well. Thank you very much. With the dictator Maduro gone, but his deputies still in power there in Caracas, the question of who should lead Venezuela into this new era of democracy is an urgent one. In an exclusive interview, Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado told us it's obvious to her who should lead next. Are you the person to lead Venezuela into that next chapter of freedom? Should you be the next leader of Venezuela?
Well, the people of Venezuela have already chosen. And if there's something I feel proud about is how Venezuelans have understand that this is a personal, individual decision. It's not a matter only of leadership. It's a matter of a whole society committed to do what it takes, to take responsibility for our own future.
So in other words, the answer is yes, is what I'm hearing. You won that primary. You were then banned from running. I asked you, should you be the next leader of Venezuela? You say you already have won what's necessary to become it. So the answer is yes?
Absolutely yes. And we have a president-elect who is Edmundo González Urrutia, and we are ready and willing to serve our people as we have been mandated.
The Trump administration, and Donald Trump in particular, surprised, even shocked some people by saying he does not support you as the next leader of Venezuela or your party. He said for you, you're nice, but you lack respect in the country and that it would be tough for you to lead. Have you spoken to him since Maduro's capture? And what would you say to him? What do you want him to know?
No, I have not spoken to him this year, and I have insisted in a clear message on behalf of the Venezuelan people. We are very, very grateful. A few weeks ago, people would have said it was impossible to reach this point. And President Trump's leadership and courage has brought Nicolás Maduro to face justice. And this is huge. This is a major step towards restoring prosperity and rule of law and democracy in Venezuela.
Ms. Machado, on that point, the people who put those individuals in prison, many of them are still in power. In fact, all of them, with the exception of Maduro. And the deputy of Maduro, a vice president of his, Delcy Rodriguez, is now the interim president. She is in charge. Some people in the U.S. say she's a moderate, that she's going to cooperate with the U.S. What do you think? Do you think she's the right person to lead Venezuela right now?
Everybody in Venezuela and abroad knows perfectly who she is and the role she has played. She was sanctioned by the United States government because of the corruption and all the involvement she has in criminal activities. Beyond that, she has been the architect, one of the main architects and director of the torture centers in Venezuela, of repression towards our innocent people, and the main link, the main actor that has relations with Russia, with Iran, and other countries that have, obscure and criminal activities in Venezuela. So certainly she's nothing but like a moderate. I think it's evident the United States has instructed her to take certain actions regarding further dismantling of the criminal structure as a path forward towards a complete transition to democracy in Venezuela.
It sounds like you're saying she's done a lot of bad in the past, but now she is a puppet of the United States.
Well, I will not speculate once again. I think she is in a very critical position because nobody trusts her. Nobody.
And we'll be putting that full conversation online. And by the way, while I have you, we also asked Machado if she thought that a year from now she'd be in a position to be able to personally host me at the presidential palace there in Venezuela. She said, quote, as soon as possible when Venezuela is free. And as we walk the streets of Doral today, home to tens of thousands of Venezuelans, many of them victims of Chavez or Maduro or both, we heard that same wish for democracy and that same choice for their leader, Maria Corina Machado. In Doral, even in the local Italian gelato shop, you run into Venezuelans, some of the thousands here to escape the misery and danger of their lives under Nicolás Maduro. And now, in the aftermath of the U.S. raid to remove him, some of the most hopeful people in America. Freddie Hernandez owns the place, and his nephew Victor helps scoop. What do you hope happens now in Venezuela? There has to be a political and economic transformation, he tells me. It has to become a prosperous country, as it was before. Both had what's known as temporary protected status, allowing them to stay in America legally, a status the Trump administration ended last year. But if the White House thinks Venezuelans like these will be heading back once their country is stabilized, that's not what we heard. Do you think your nephew will have a brighter future in America, or is it now potentially Venezuela? His future is here, he told me. Just outside, we noticed a group still waving flags of celebration. And when it comes to who should lead Venezuela next, there's only one answer we heard.
To me, it is unquestionable, should be Maria Corina.
You feel that way?
¿Te sientes lo mismo?
Sí.
We found Luis Rodriguez, who at 26 said life in Venezuela was worthless until now. How do you feel about the future of Venezuela today?
So today it's been a hope. It's been a really hope for all of us, for all Venezuelans. We've been afraid for more than 25 years.
And many told me today that the movement Luis was talking about there is not going to end. It's not going to end until there is democracy in Venezuela once again. We're going to turn to other news tonight. We learned that Michael Reagan, the conservative commentator, died today. He was the son of President Ronald Reagan and Reagan's first wife, the actress Jane Wyman. Reagan died Sunday, in fact, after a battle with cancer. He was 80 years old. The Trump administration has launched another crackdown on illegal immigration. The target this time, Minneapolis-St. Paul. Thousands of agents moved into the Twin Cities, and our Nicole Scango was there. She talked exclusively with the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem.
In Minneapolis, we followed immigration agents as they closed in on a man they say is wanted for murder in Ecuador and came illegally to the U.S.
Are you aware of the crimes you've committed?
That's Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who deployed roughly 2,000 agents to the Twin Cities to conduct immigration raids and to assist in a widening fraud probe.
2,000 agents is enormous.
It is.
How do you justify that to the American taxpayer?
The American taxpayer is grateful that that resource allocation has been put here. We've never seen this kind of fraudulent and abuse of programs before in recent history.
Over the past 3 years, prosecutors here have charged more than 90 people, mostly Somali Americans, with fraud. The scandal has become a political cudgel for the president.
The Somalians should be out of here. They've destroyed our country.
So when the president said, I don't want them in this country, what did he mean?
What I will tell you is I'm focused on policing the streets, not policing President Trump's words.
The president's words and the show of force behind them have shaken the Somali community. Youth counselor Mohammed Jama told us he was recently interrogated by ICE agents.
The line has been blurred. You could be a citizen and still get detained.
We asked the secretary about Jama's concerns.
He's an American on American soil. What's your message to him?
That every individual that we have focused on the last year, as far as the Department of Homeland Security, has been someone who has broken our laws.
So he should not be worried?
Absolutely not.
Mohammed Jama is part of a vast majority of Somali-descended Minnesotans, 87% who are U.S. citizens, according to U.S. Census data. Now, Secretary Noem told us that her agents aren't targeting any particular community, but Tony, CBS News has learned there are 15 times more ICE agents on the streets of Minneapolis today than usual.
You certainly have a focus. Nicole, thank you very much. One of the police officers who responded to the shooting in Uvalde, Texas, went on trial today for not responding quickly enough. Emotions in this case ran so high the trial was moved 200 miles away from Uvalde to Corpus Christi. Jason Allen is there.
When a gunman attacked Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas in 2022, former school police officer Adrian Gonzalez was the first one there and one of the first 4 officers to go inside the building. As the gunman fired into classrooms full of children and teachers, however, prosecutors allege Gonzalez stayed where he was and did not move toward the gunfire.
When a child is in danger and calls 911, We have the right to expect a response.
Special Prosecutor Bill Turner was emotional laying out Gonzalez's alleged inaction to the jury, pointing out that others, including teachers, tried to protect children from the shooter. 19 children and 2 teachers died that day. 77 minutes went by before law enforcement confronted the shooter.
The government wants to make it seem like he just sat there, you know. He didn't just sit there.
Defense attorney Nico LaHood told the jury Gonzalez was not in a position where he could see the shooter that morning and was relaying information to other officers as they arrived. Families of the children and teachers killed that day are in the courtroom for the trial. Jesse and Juanita Rizzo, whose niece Jackie Cazares was one of the children who died, said they are looking for accountability.
We've been here waiting nearly 4 years for this day to come, and we want to see justice for our baby girl Jackie Cazares, the 18 children, and the 2 teachers, the justice that they deserve.
Gonzalez faces 29 counts of abandoning or endangering a child. He's pleaded not guilty to those charges. He's one of 2 officers from that day who are facing criminal charges for their actions, Tony, out of nearly 400 who responded to that school.
All right, Jason, thank you very much. Coming up on the CBS Evening News next, live from South Florida, a murder mystery in Ohio. What police are hoping a new video will reveal. Federal investigators say the gunman who killed 2 students at Brown University and later an MIT professor confessed to the killings on videos left in the storage unit where his body was also found. He did not reveal his motive. We're going to turn now to a mystery in Columbus, Ohio. A dentist and his wife found dead in their home a week ago. Here's Tom Hansen.
Tonight, the first clue in a double homicide that has rattled the city of Columbus. Police are asking for the public's help identifying this person, seen walking in an alleyway near the home of Spencer and Monique Tepe hours before they were found, shot dead.
There's a body. There's a body inside? Yeah.
911 audio obtained by CBS News reveals the frantic moments a friend of the couple came upon a grisly scene in their bedroom.
He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed in his blood. I can't get closer to see more than that.
Police found the couple's 2 young children alive and unharmed. There were no signs of a forced entry and no gun, but they did find 3 spent 9mm casings.
Is that good?
Rob Misla, Spencer Tepe's brother-in-law, told our affiliate WBNS the community is still reeling 1 week after the tragedy.
They were the glue of so many people in such a large community that they brought together. And they're just so loving and just so welcoming to people. Not being able to go visit them at their home and them not being able to see their children grow up. It's just 2 things I can't fathom.
Tom Hansen, CBS News.
Up next, 5 years after the assault on the U.S. Capitol, January 6 rioters march again in Washington. Steve Phelps, the commissioner of NASCAR, has resigned after it was revealed he called Hall of Fame team owner Richard Childress, quote, a stupid redneck and worse in a series of text messages. Also tonight, 5 years after the January 6th attack, a group of pardoned defendants marched through Washington. President Trump today accused Democrats of failing to prevent the attack on the Capitol, while House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries accused the president of, quote, whitewashing it. We'll be right back. Finally tonight, and only in America, the many lives and many jobs of Marco Rubio, the son of Cuban immigrants and a former Florida senator. He's now the face of U.S. foreign policy and President Trump's point man on Venezuela, all in addition to his roles as Secretary of State, interim national security advisor, and acting national archivist and USAID chief. Whatever you think of his politics, you got to admit it's an impressive resume. And now AI memes have added to that portfolio, casting Secretary Rubio as the new governor of Minnesota, the new Shah of Iran, the prime minister of Greenland, the new manager of Manchester United, the head of Hilton Hotels, and highest of high honors of all, the new Michelin man. Now, back in real life, of course, these memes may not add up to much, but for Rubio's hometown fans, which are many around here in Miami, it is a sign of how Florida, once an American punchline, has become a leader on the world stage. Marco Rubio, we salute you. You're the ultimate Florida man. And that's another day in America and in Miami. For CBS News, I'm Tony DeCopel. We'll see you tomorrow, live from Dallas. Good night for now.